Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 749. Really tardy edition, like 90 minutes tardy. 90 minutes tardy. Why? It wasn't the computer. It wasn't the coffee. It was like this general region on my face. Happens every year, this time of year. Usually, actually, I get it twice a year. Usually it happens in the spring, not as bad. Well, sometimes the spring can be worse than it seems to like go back and forth. One year it hits me worse in December. The next year it hits me worse in like March, April. So it's hit me in December this year. I have terrible sinus pressure. And it just knocked me out of nowhere. I was fine yesterday. We went live. What did we do? 90 minutes yesterday morning on Hobby Evolution. I did another hour plus. If you didn't see it yesterday, check out my video. I did a walkthrough on my sales process of using the Fujitsu scanner along with Card Dealer Pro and just the settings I use, what I do in the spreadsheet, all that fun stuff. So we did that live yesterday afternoon. What else did I do? I didn't drink any beer, which can tend to lead to some what do you call it? Congestion. I ate a decent meal. I mean, it was like a microwave meal, but it wasn't frozen pizza. So I wake up at 1:45 and my teeth, like my upper teeth, throbbing. Not a toothache. It's like the pressure, the sinus cavity or sinus whatever, like right in here. Like right there. It's still bad on this side. And I get it. Like last year, I think it was this side. So it doesn't, it kind of rotates each year. So this time it's my left side of my face. And like, oh my God, I woke up at 1:45, just, oh my God. So I'm like, rubbing it. And I just like, now I'm wide awake and the pain is not going away. I'm like, hopefully it's just like, and it's getting worse. Now, my wife can attest. I hate taking any type of pills, sprays, none of that stuff. Unless I'm in like a lot of pain. And at 1:45, I was in a lot of pain last night. So I went into the bathroom and I got some of the I've got some of the nasal spray. So I shot up some nasal spray, snorted some of that stuff. Helped a little bit. But as soon as I lay back down, it's like all of that mucus just we're going right back into that spot right here. And we're going to cause you pain the rest of the night. So I get on my phone and I'm like, I can't get comfortable. Like I had turned the TV off before I went to bed. So now it's too quiet and I can't focus on, like, the only thing my mind is focusing on is the pain in my face. So I'm like, well, I'll turn the TV on. And there was a Christmas movie on. It wasn't a Hallmark movie. And I want to have to watch it in its entirety. The 12 Dates of Christmas with Amy Smart and Zach Morris, or his real name, Mark Paul Gosselaar. So I was watching that. I get on my phone. This is like 2 a.m. Freaking Xander Bogaerts signs with the Padres. What the hell? I wanted Xander Bogaerts at Wrigley Field. So that doesn't help. After Wilson Contreras signs with the freaking Cardinals yesterday. God dang it. So I look up, what can relieve this sinus pressure? What can I do at 3 a.m.? It's getting close to 3 a.m. at this point. So I took the nasal spray and then it's like a warm compress. The long showers, well, I'm not going to take a shower at 3 a.m. Hot compress. So I get a wash rag. What do you call them? Do you call them wash rags? I feel like that's an old-timey, like that's what my dad called them. But he also called them picture shows and eating places. So my dad was a little hillbilly and old-fashioned. And he called them But he did say wash rags. He didn't say wash rags. Go out and get a wash rag. So I got a wash rag, put some hot water on it, wrung it out, put it over my face. And that helped a little bit until it wasn't warm anymore. And it's like, well, do I go back and make it warm again, or do I just try to fall asleep? So I tried to fall asleep. And then 3 a.m. turned to 4 a.m. And then I think I finally fell asleep at 4 a.m. And then I woke up and I turned my alarm off because I'm like, it's 4 a.m. I'm not going to wake up on time. I'll just be late for Hobby Evolution. Full disclosure, if I was working like in an office, I would have taken a sick day today. So I woke up at 7 a.m. My biscuits are ready to get up. And I'm like, what the hell? If mom's home, you're like hanging out with her, sleeping in. So I'm like, I'm sleeping. So I messaged a few people and said, hey, I'm going on late this morning. And tried to get biscuit. No, we're going to go back to sleep. But it lasted it's 8:30 now. So I think I just stayed awake at 7 a.m. I laid in bed for a half an hour and then tackled the day. I've got enough shipping to do. And here's the thing. And I'm going to be behind on the chat, I think. Here's the thing with this sinus pressure that I get, especially the December version of it, and this is like, I bet if I look back in my Twitter, I bet it's like the 1 year anniversary, 2 years, like it's right around this time, because usually I'm better by like the week of Christmas, like it clears up. It's usually the first, second week of December when it hits me the hardest. It hit me. I think it was the winter before COVID hit. So right before COVID hit. Hell, maybe it was COVID in its early strain or whatever. But it was December of, what year was that? 2019. It was so bad that the only, like, I was taking pills like Sinex and Mucinex, sprays, neti pot. I was breathing in Vicks. I mean, freaking everything. I think I even went to urgent care, but it was like a 2-hour wait. And I'm like, F this, I'll just deal with the pain. I mean, they're not going to, if you go to urgent care for sinus pressure, there's nothing you can do besides all of the above that I just listed. That's what sucks about sinus pressure. There's like you can't just take a pill and it goes away. So the only thing that helped, and I feel fine. Like right now, I feel great with the exception of this region. Like from here, from like here, like the nostril, under my eye, down. Don't screenshot this. Like here, down to like here. Like this general region. That's all that hurts. But it hurts enough to make life miserable for a couple days. So in 2019, when this hit in December, the only thing that made me feel any better was like moving around, walking. So I would jump on the treadmill for like 2 hours a night. And this persisted for about a week. I almost said a month, not a month. Oh my God. That would be terrible. So I jumped on the treadmill for like 2 hours a night. So, hey, it was probably good for me. Maybe this is a sign from God. Hey, you're drinking too much beer, eating too much frozen pizza. It's time to get on the treadmill, fatty. So maybe that's just a sign like, hey, this is the only time you get on the treadmill. When you have terrible sinus pain for 4 days in December is the only time you jump on the treadmill. So that's why I'm late this morning. Jenny, what's up? Good morning. What lesson plan is on the agenda today? No lesson plan. Well, dealing with sinus pressure. That is today's lesson plan. And there's not even a preventative measure that I know of. Maybe there is. Like, it's not like, well, to avoid the flu, wash your hands. And it's like, you can't, you can wash your hands, but it's not going to prevent your sinus pressure. I do have a follow-up question to the lesson plan from yesterday. If one were at some point cancel said membership, do they lose the photos on eBay? No. Maybe. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. That's a really good question because I have an Image Shack subscription that's going to be ending here in the next probably couple days. Although I set everything to auto renew and then I look at my account and it's like, what the like my athletic membership keeps renewing and I always forget to. It's like, well, I might as well. I'll remember it this time next year. And of course, you don't remember it this time next year. That's a great question. And I don't know the answer to that. But that is a good question because I don't use Image Shack anymore. So I guess for me it would be worth it if it does wipe out your eBay listings to like Image Shack. It would be worth it to keep that $16 a year subscription to not lose those photos on eBay because it's a link and it's probably going to be a dead link. Same with Car Dealer Pro. I'll have to ask Ted for Car Dealer Pro if that's the case. I don't know. I think Car Dealer Pro might work differently though because I'll have to ask Ted. I don't know. Maybe if Ted, if you're listening, if you're watching, if Car Dealer Pro membership was canceled, would you lose your photos on eBay? Would those links go dead to those photos? That is a great question. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer, and I should. Let's see. Where are we at? Dystemic in the house. What's up? The biggest card show in Minnesota history in April. Jenny says it should be a good one. I will likely attend just to meet people as I'll never probably get to the National, but I doubt my PC cards will be at the show with cost of tables, aka no dime boxes. I'm going to a big card show in Phoenix the weekend of March 24th while I'm down at spring training. I missed the show. So I was going to go that I was down at spring training this past year when Phoenix had that big 400 card show. And I was like all set to go. And I just wanted to watch baseball instead. It's like, and I think I made the comment on a Hobby Evolution. And this was the time Herman, who's never taken a flight, never flown on a plane, decides to take a flight to a card show in Madison, Wisconsin. And here I am on Hobby Evolution. Yeah, I skipped the show in Phoenix because card shows are a dime a dozen. So I did skip the big Phoenix show last year. I probably would skip it again if I was down there this year, just because it's like I go down there for baseball, and I know I'm probably in the minority with how much baseball I consume when I go to spring training. It's like some of the friends that go down at the same time, they're like, oh, we're going to Sedona, we're going to the river thing, we're going to old Scottsdale, and it's like, I'm going to the ballpark. I'm going to watch baseball. You do you. What's up, Scotty Dubs? Good morning. But I do go to Vito's. I will again. Double A Cards, what's happening? Boston Smoke in the house. Good morning. Jenny says Madison pressure is likely changing. I do believe y'all have a big snowstorm coming. We sure do. We've got, I think the news last night said 2 to 4 inches Thursday into Friday, which today's Thursday. So yes, we've got a big snowstorm coming in. Well, I actually in Wisconsin, I wouldn't, in the upper Midwest, I wouldn't consider 2 to 4 inches a big snowstorm, but it's the first measurable snowfall. Is it? Did we have a measurable snowfall? We might have had a tiny measurable snowfall, but this is like the first significant snowfall of the season. So you're absolutely right. That's probably what it is. It's probably the change in pressure with that storm coming in. Scotty Dubs, thanks for the file exchange video. Really helped. Awesome. And that's what I wanted that video to do, because so many people ask, like, have you done a video? Are you going to do a video? And I dragged my feet because I wanted to wait until my new computer came, because believe it or not, the computer I used to use in that office upstairs was worse than the laptop down here. Believe that. The laptop I was using upstairs was, I think, 10 years old. Yeah, 2012, maybe 11 years old, because I bought it I think the first year I was at the university. So that would have been 2011. So probably around this time, it was probably around this time. Actually, it might have been in the fall of 2011. So I certainly put it to good use, good work. So that's why I wanted to wait and to do the video. But I've had so many requests on doing the video, and then I saw I even watched the breaks, and somebody else tagged me in a video or a question on it yesterday, and it's like, you know what? I've got the new computer set up. I was actually in the middle of doing it anyway. It's like, well, I might as well just take an hour and show my process. Ken likes this time better. I feel like when I end this show and I go upstairs for my second cup of coffee, it's gonna be like 9:30, and I'm gonna be like, oh my God, it's 9:30 already. I have lost half the day. This is too late for me. Tom, what's up? My buddy Tom in Peoria. Good morning to you. Good morning, Victor. What's happening? John is in the house. Terry, good morning. Jenny says, Ken, I think you are not alone with that. I think this episode will bring a lot more viewership live. We'll see. I wonder. We're at 33. Sometimes that does happen. Sometimes I get a lot more viewership, although this is like a generic, like there's not a snappy title. It's a generic thumbnail because I don't have a topic today. Although I had a buddy of mine text me, kind of like you guys joke around about how when are we going to learn about scaling our business? It took 3 days and you never told us. I had a similar thing with the other day. I did the why am I running eBay auctions? And my buddy's like, I'm like a half an hour in and you haven't said it. And I'm like, well, just keep watching. Boost that time spent watching. So let's do an update. How are my auctions doing? I think I'm up to 70 auctions. I ended up not listing any auctions last night. I ripped the rest of my second case of Topps Heritage Miners. I ripped, I don't know, like 5 boxes last night. Did I pull anything? Nothing like great, but that's what I love about Heritage Miners. Like it's a grind, much like I was in a back and forth this morning and probably continuing on Bowman U. So let's actually, before I get into Bowman U talk, I want to see how my auctions are doing. I can't remember. I split my auctions up between today's Thursday, none Wednesday, Monday and Tuesday night. So auctions. Oh, I only have 56 auctions going. Listed less on Tuesday than I thought. So I think I only have 5 bids, but one has like bids up to like $4.25, which was more than I was expecting. And that's in plus shipping. So that's already at $8.25 shipped, which I would have been happy with. I probably would have been happy with selling that for $8.25 shipped. So I think somebody tweeted out about Bowman U football. Bowman U. Let's see. Pip says I'm flat wrong. No idea why he would argue something that flat obvious. So sometimes I was getting a little chippy in responding, but now it's like, I've said my piece. Let's see. Delta Break says the only thing consistently on shelves at retail near me is Bowman U. I wish I was near him. Where's Delta Breaks at? Must be it. Oh, he's in Maryland. Although I did pass on a lot of Bowman U when it was on sale for $15. I'm blastered out. I opened probably 75 blasters of Bowman U, so I've got plenty. Let's see. But it's one of those things. It's one of those things that if I like went to Walmart and I saw Bowman U, I'd pay $20 for a blaster. The other thing about running this late is I'm getting like notifications from all different sources. Sources as in texts from friends. Let's see. So there was I don't even know how this all started. Ivan tweeted out, is anyone buying those university cards still, or did they just flop? And pretty much everybody said they flopped, but I will say, and I still have a few behind me. I have four? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 behind me. And then I have 4 more. So I have 9 blasters. I'll open this Saturday at the Couch People Christmas party. I probably ripped 75 blasters, and I ripped a hobby case. Hobby boxes didn't get below $100 even on Black Friday, which based on the availability still of unopened Bowman U wax, I thought it would dip down to $75. I would have scooped up a ton at $75 a hobby box, but at 100, I'm like, and I paid, I think for my hobby case, I think I paid like 115 per box. So I mean, I had some good hits. Now, will I say, was it a flop? No, it wasn't a flop. Was it a success? No, it wasn't a success. Was it a good low-end product that you can definitely make money on? Abso-freaking-lutely. I more than doubled my money so far, and I still have piles of Bowman U. I think one of these boxes down here, this one, that might, yeah, I think that box, I've got like a 600 count box filled with singles. I've got a stack, probably hundreds of pink refractors still. Now, are they like $5, $10, $20 cards? No, they're going to be $2, $3 cards. I think I still have some autos to list, and some, I think I've got a purple refractor, and I've got some other stuff. I think some of my singles in my eBay store are overpriced, and I'll have to adjust pricing. But it's like free money at this point. So was it a flop? No. Was it the success I anticipated? No. It really underwhelmed my expectations, but I still made money, and I made a good profit on it. So I'm not going to complain. And I think it's only going to get better because next year, Fanatics had signed a deal with, I think, like 150 universities. So they have the licenses to the universities, and which is the key with NIL, because NIL alone, you cannot. I think the way NIL works, and I could be wrong. I don't know if somebody actually knows, but from what I understand, well, actually working through some of the NIL process for what was going to potentially be an autograph signing at one of my card shows last summer, was the NIL, because I was reading up, what's, all that tiny wording stuff. The NIL, like, say Braylon Allen plays here at Wisconsin. He's a running back, and he's not transferring. So Braylon Allen can sign an NIL with Fanatics. So Topps can put out Braylon Allen cards and autographs, but they can't put out Braylon Allen autographs. It can't say Wisconsin Badgers. It can't say Wisconsin. It's just basically all generic. Basically what you see on a Braylon Allen football card within the Bowman U product. Now we can go over to Panini. Panini does have the official license to the NCAA. However, with the way the NIL works, that doesn't mean anything. The NCAA license does not commingle with the NIL. So even though Panini, and if anybody knows different, let me know or give me a link. I'd like to read it. That NCAA license doesn't include like Braylon Allen. Panini couldn't sign Braylon Allen to a NIL contract, and Panini couldn't put Braylon Allen cards with Wisconsin Badger uniforms. However, if a card company signs a licensing deal with the university and then the NIL with the player, that's the two contracts that mesh up. And so Fanatics will be able to put, my understanding, license with Fanatics, and then they sign the NIL with these players. They'll be able to put them in uniforms and, say Braylon Allen, running back, Wisconsin Badgers. From what everything I've read and understood, again, I'm not 100% certain, but from what I interpret, that's how it rolls. Again, if anybody knows any different, shoot me a link. I'd like to read it. Let's see. Diego, what's happening? Good morning to you. Hope everyone has a fantastic Thursday. Definitely. Red Light 34 in the house. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Christian, good morning. Jenny says, aha, that's why my Bogarts rookie sold overnight. Yeah, so speaking of what's selling, the other day I was looking for, I had miscounted some of my Topps Olympic cards from 2016. And I was going through and I found some Kayla Harrison, which I don't think I've listed. What are these? There's Connor Fields in here as well. How'd he get in there? So Kayla Harrison, who I believe is an MMA fighter. And I'm like, oh, I bet those will sell. And I found some Brittney Griners, who has been in the news, unfortunately has been in the news, a prisoner in Russia. And so I'm like, she's in the news. I'm going to list some Brittney Griner cards. And I think I had a dozen. And I've sold 4 out of the 12, 3 of which sold overnight. And then I wake up this morning and I see a tweet. Brittney Griner has been released. The U.S. and Russia did basically a prisoner exchange. The U.S. is releasing a prisoner, a Russian prisoner, and Russia is releasing American prisoner Brittney Griner. So she's on her way back to the U.S., which is awesome news. So I moved, I think 3 after that news came out, and then I have 8 left. And I've been receiving offers on those 8. I only have them listed for $2.50 per card with 8 of them. I did sell the 3 at regular price. And then I think I have a 20% discount on top of that. So basically I'm offering, I think I countered one. Somebody offered me like 99 cents for all 8 of them. And I just countered $2 each for all 8 of them. And then they countered back and I just declined. And then I'm sitting on another one that I think was, I'm not sure what the other one was. But I assume they'll sell today. So those are some of the things in the news, like Deion Sanders taking the head coaching job at Colorado. I'm moving singles of Deion Sanders cards, like baseball and football from the junk wax era. Those are moving. Jenny moved Xander Bogaerts. He signed with the Padres late last night. Brittney Griner. Some of those players, they get in the news cycle and they move. Cooter says Wilson is the new Yadier. That's got a sting. It does. And I've been expecting this for the last 2 years. It just the stars just aligned too perfectly for all this. And when the Cubs didn't, work with a contract extension, and Willie's like, I want to Willie wanted to re-sign with the Cubs, and the Cubs didn't even offer him a freaking contract. And then they don't move him at the trade deadline. What in the hell are you doing, Jed Hoyer? So they've made some small. I mean, Jamison Tyone was a good move. That was a good signing. Cody Bellinger is just like a. It's kind of a blip. The Cubs need to make a splash with one of the shortstops, and now they're starting to get picked off. Trey Turner's off the board. Xander Bogaerts, who was my number 1, is off the board. Carlos Correa is still out there. He's my number 2. And if he goes elsewhere, we're down to Dansby Swanson, and he's another guess we got Dansby. I'm not interested in Dansby Swanson, but I guess it's better than nothing. It's better than status quo, but I don't know by how much. Jenny says, breaking sports news, folks, not to interrupt the sinus pressure pain here. Brittney Griner on a plane back to America. That's awesome news. Brian Dean, good morning. I have the same issues, old school Vicks up the nose. I may have to buy some Vicks because I haven't used Vicks in quite some time. Let's see. John says, sinus troubles confirm my view that you were on the cocaine yesterday. Was I? Somebody else mentioned I was in rare form yesterday. And I actually did drink beers on Tuesday night. Usually I'm like a little subdued after a few beers the night before. And I don't think I had a second cup of coffee yet yesterday morning. We'll see. Let's see. Dystemic says, hope she doesn't light up her vape on board. Ed, good morning. Let's see. Oh, I skipped ahead. I hate how YouTube skips ahead in the chat. I don't know if anybody else has that issue when you're live and you're stuck, you're looking, but you're way behind on the chat. And then you click or you scroll down and it just jumps all the way down. And that's why I have to go back. Still going. Where are we at? That's why I say that all the time. Let's see. So we've got Red Light 34. Tommy Boy, not so much here, but here. AA cards, I canceled Card Dealer Pro and images stayed up on eBay listings. I have Card Dealer Pro back now. Good deal. Good deal. John says perm link to Image Shack seems bulky. Seems like it would be a one-time download from Image Shack. Okay. Terry says, I believe the photos on eBay should stay as long as the listing is active. If ended and restarted, the pictures will be gone. Aha. I bet you're right on that. Jenny says, thanks to AA. May I ask why cancel? Just no time, or was there something you didn't like? Dystemic says, I went to a show in Tempe when I was there this year and saw the banner for their spring training show. Steve, what's happening? Adrenaline is the best antihistamine. Yeah, I guess it is. AA says, I don't have a lot of older cards, and Card Dealer Pro has those cards that AI would recognize. So for newer cards, I had to manually enter all the info, which defeated the purpose. Yeah. That is a fair point. Let's see, but I've changed my eBay strategy, so I got it back now and using Bo's idea of editing listings in the CSV file. And AA, like when I list, so I'll do another bulk listing of Topps Heritage Miners when I get everything sorted again, my second case and my third case. So what I do is I scan everything. And I think we might have talked about this in DM. And so I still scan the images. I upload them. Card Dealer Pro doesn't recognize them. So I think we did have a Twitter DM conversation about this, but for everybody else. So what I do with a new release, like Topps Heritage Miners, is not, the AI doesn't recognize it because it's still so new. It was just released a couple weeks ago. So I will still scan like normal, and I will upload those images to Card Dealer Pro. And you're like, well, that defeats the purpose of the AI. But it's still much faster than the old-fashioned Image Shack, especially because for me, when I used Image Shack, for some reason it wouldn't upload my photos in order. It was like all over the place. So then I would have to spend time sorting after uploading and then going back in and typing everything in. So it saves a lot of time on that end. So then Card Dealer Pro doesn't recognize any of my Heritage Miners. So then I export the spreadsheet, and basically I can go in and, I'll put in my custom label. I'll go in and I'll copy and paste year set price, all of that, just copy and paste down. So the only thing I'm doing is typing in the title, player, and team, and that's all. And then everything else is just copy paste, and boom, upload it. So, and it's still a pretty fast. It's not as fast as the AI filling everything in for you. There's still typing, but it works for me. And I can still get those singles up in a timely manner. Let's see. Tracy's in the house. What's up? Jenny says, cool. Thanks for the feedback. For newer cards, were you seeing mainly current year not working, or would you say 2020 and previous hard to find? AA says, depended on sport. Baseball seemed to be more updated than football or basketball. I would agree with that. They did make a tweak a few weeks ago. Football is much, much better for modern product now. It was like I had stopped listing modern football because it was just so inaccurate, but it's now working. AA says, I would say 2021 and newest releases would not work as well overall. Let's see. Low Roller says you got auction bid of 425. That is correct. That's on a Seth Curry relic. Let's see. Terry says, I used Card Dealer Pro for some 2022 tops a few days ago. It matched most of them. Yeah, and what I'm seeing, I don't know how, I don't have how long does it take? It's going to be, the length of time is obviously significant. If it's a new release, you want it like now. Like you want to get your product on release day sorted and listed like within a day to really capture the market. So That's if I'm getting product on new release, there's a lot of 2022 products that it's like Bowman U football. We talked about that earlier. Bowman U football, it recognizes. It does have some issues with the inserts, but the base it recognizes, and it recognized the base back in like August. Now it was released, I think, in May, so it was a couple months, but it still recognized same year product. Christian likes early. I agree. I like 7 a.m. the best myself. Lance Jones, good morning from Peoria. We got 2 Peorians, the center of the universe. Let's see. AA cards. That's stolen from Nick Vallejos, formerly of the PJ Star. Let's see. I haven't tried it as much since the most recent update. Most of my experience was October, early November. It's much, much, much improved since the struggles we had, a month ago, and then again here recently, maybe 2 months ago, and then again within the last couple of weeks. Jenny says auctions probably have no bids because they seem to never until last moment. That is true. Let's see. Low Roller says I can rerun it 6 times. I don't even know if it's set to relist. If it is, I'll just let them roll. If it's not, I'll just throw buy it now on. Kristen has a topic. If you could go back in time, what collection focus do you wish you had started? Not something like 86 Jordans, but what do you wish you had started collecting earlier? Oh, easy. This is easy. Cubs. Okay. And now you're saying, well, you have 850,000 Cubs cards. But basically my entire collecting life, I never had focus until December of 2017. And I've had focus, but it's like, hey, squirrel, and I'm on a new focus. So when I started collecting, I was like, I'd say when I first started truly collecting, not just like opening packs and like being a 7-year-old, like, ooh, a baseball card. Is that what 7-year-olds do? It's been a while. Ooh, a baseball card. And for a time, like I collected manager cards in 89 Tops, like as a 7-year-old kid. Then I think I collected Cubs cards. And I collected non-sports cards. I would open packs of like New Kids on the Block. Yes, I said it. New Kids on the Block. Batman, Dick Tracy. I would build sets of those. And then I started building sets. And then I went into more heavily focused on football. And I was a big Joe Montana fan. That led me into collecting quarterbacks. Now, this is all within like a 2-year period from like 1989 to 1991. I was all over the place. Never had a focus. When I got back into cards in the late 90s and 98, I kind of went back to my roots and I was a Cubs collector again. And I was picking up, I was digging through quarter boxes, buying Mickey Morandini 98 Tops gold label, whatever it might be. And then I was doing a lot of flipping. I was buying and selling a lot in the early 2000s, had an eBay store. And then when I got back into it in 2012, that's probably 2012 is like when I really got back into collecting to where I am today. And it started out slow. 2012 to 2014 was just dabbling. And then when I moved to Wisconsin in 2014, I bought my first Craigslist collection, and then it was just gung-ho from there. And then my collection went from 25,000 cards to 3 million. And then 2017, I started collecting Cubs. I wish I would have had more focus on Cubs and just stuck to it. But I was so ADD in my collecting until 2017. Now I have focus, and even running a business, I've learned how to, in the last 5 years, I've learned how to, let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? Compartmentalize my collecting. Like when I open wax, the Cubs automatically go into my collection. Anything non-Cub is for sale, but my Cubs are not for sale. And I've been able to compartmentalize where in the past, even in 2015 and 2016, I'd pull a Chris Bryant auto back when he was super hot. And it's like, well, I need to recoup the cost of my box. So I have to sell it, even though it's a Chris Bryant Cubs autograph. And that's just not the case anymore. So that's what I know. That might be a surprising answer. But if I could go back and have a collection focus, I would have focused on Cubs sooner and not waited until I was 35. And I'd probably have a much nicer collection as well. Christian says, for me, it would be Stadium Club Master sets. I wish I had this as a collecting focus from the beginning. I don't collect this now because of cost, but wish I had. Low Roller says, can you look how many viewers each auction on your eBay? Yeah, some still have 0 after 2 days. I am curious on what other people would answer to Christian's question. Let's see. I'll go back, Low Roller, and we'll take a look at some of my auction views. I hate auctions, but it's just I want to dump these basketball cards, and I don't want to take the time to comp them. And although I have a few of these basketball cards, I've had to look them up to see what the hell is this? Is this a red wave, or is this a ruby, or is this this is numbered to 49. What's the actual name? Okay, it's just orange prism. Ed is a little behind, but I delete batches on Card Dealer Pro after uploading, and it doesn't affect the photos. Okay, good deal. I keep all of mine up, and I probably should just delete them. John said, doubled your money, including labor and overhead. Let's see, including labor. I mean, come on. I don't consider, and I know some people say, and here's going to be a hot take. My time is valuable, but this is fun. And I think too many people get caught up in, is it worth your time? For me, yes. For John Keating, probably not. But I mean, my wife and I, we were talking about this, and I don't even know what I mentioned. I think I was just talking about how many shipments I still had. And she's like, well, do you still like it? I'm like it. I love it. It's like I've been doing this now full time for 14 months, and I freaking love it. And what do I do when I'm tired of baseball cards? I go look at more baseball cards. Like, it's just, I don't have other hobbies. I mean, in the summer, I garden. I have a vegetable garden, and I ride, and I have an e-bike, and I ride some trails. But other than that, like in the winter, I don't have any hobbies. Maybe I should jump on the treadmill and just take a break. I actually probably should do that now with this sinus crap. It'll make me feel better. But it's like, when I add all of that in, did I double my money? I may have. But I don't consider, I mean, when it comes down to it, I let my accountant figure out what my salary is and all that crap. But like, I work around the clock. Why? Because I enjoy it. If I wanted to work 40 hours, I'd go back to the office and get a real job. But I'm making more money doing this, and I like it a hell of a lot more. So some of that stuff, when people say, well, it's not worth my time, they're right. And in the Blowout forums, there was a thread that actually talked about, how do you make money selling baseball cards? And so I did, like, so many people are, I bet none of these people live in San Francisco and have a family of 4. Well, come on. Like, we can come up with scenarios for everybody's situation, and everybody's situation is different. If you think you can, Henry Ford said it best. If you think you can, or you think you can't, you are right. And it's worth my time. I enjoy it. That's all that matters. And if it's not worth your time and you don't want to do it, that's fine too. But just because it's not for one person doesn't mean another person can't make it work. And I make really good money doing this. I make better money selling cards than what I was doing at my last job, and that was a decent job. And they had great benefits at my last job. Now I have to freaking pay for insurance, and that sucks. But I'm still coming out ahead of what I was doing, and I didn't have to deal with corporate bullshit. Now I just have to deal with, where's my card? The tracking says it was delivered yesterday, and I asked my neighbor, and they didn't receive it either. So everybody's situation is different. My wife and I don't have kids. We don't want kids. We like working all day long. Like, my wife she's in real estate, and she's busy all the time. And we're both I'm on the couch listing cards on eBay, and she's on her laptop creating, doing a market analysis, or creating marketing stuff for her business. And that's what we enjoy. Like, it's just not everybody, having 150 cards to ship in one sitting is not everybody's cup of tea, but I enjoy it. And that's all that matters. So, I'm running a business now, and I still like this. Some of this stuff I don't, and here's like, it's not that I don't look at the numbers. Like, can I make this work? With Bowman U, it's like, it's easy. For me, it was easy money. Did I double my money after labor and overhead? Maybe I didn't double it. Maybe I only 1.75 times it. But it was well worth it. Now, did I know that going in? No. Ripping wax is a gamble. When I buy bulk, I turn down a lot of bulk because it doesn't fit. Like, it's like, okay, I don't know what this comps out at, and I don't want to spend the time, but I know what this stuff does, and I know it doesn't take me any time to list and ship, and ship and list, and list and ship, and I know what I can make a return on, and it's worth my time. Double A says, what's the most efficient way to change prices on eBay for bulk listings? I don't know exactly what you mean with the question. Are you talking like within your CS? So when I change, do you mean after they're uploaded to eBay or while you're uploading them within the spreadsheet? If it's within the spreadsheet, I just go to the start price, and usually everything I list is $1.50. If you're dealing with all prices all over the board, there's not really an easy way to do it. But the most efficient way, I would say, is just list cards. Say you have a stack of 100 cards and they're all going to be $1.50, or sort them out. Like, I'm going to list these for $1.50. Then you can just copy and paste. This batch is going to be all $1.50 cards. And then maybe pull out some, these are going to be $2.50 cards or $5 cards, and then list them at the same time. So you just have to copy and paste from the uploading. After you're in eBay, I think there's some bulk editing tools if you're within eBay, and I think you can, utilize that. Jenny says, also, if everyone can post a 1992 Upper Deck Ivan Rodriguez to eBay, would be great. Make sure to put the back of the card in the photo. I did see that. That was very bizarre. Really excited for Topps Chrome update. I am too. And Bowman Chrome mega boxes. There's just so much new product coming out this month. December's typically, there's like 2 releases, Bowman Draft and Bowman's Best. Like, that's it. And we have like everything releasing in December. Bowman Platinum is coming out. Typically kind of a crappy product. I enjoy it for the rip. Will I go buy 75 boxes like I did Bowman U? Absolutely not. Will I buy a couple if it's in stores this week for the Couch People Christmas party? Definitely. Topps Heritage High Number I'm excited for because Ethan Roberts has a rookie card in it. So I'm hoping, I've seen pictures that it's actually live out in stores. Today is Thursday, so I'm going to make a Walmart run. I'm going to make a retail run today because there's a lot of products that could be on store shelves that I want to rip Saturday. So I may rip some wax or buy some wax to rip on Saturday. DR says, also, there could be a bowl season bump on random players with Bowman U. Definitely. Absolutely. And the NFL draft. CJ Stroud, I don't know if he's still a front runner for the Heisman, but you could see a Heisman bump. You could see a bowl game bump, and you could see a draft bump. And you will. Now, does it mean your cards will go from $5 to $20? No. But if your card's been sitting in your store for $5 for the last 3 months, you could see it move. Low Roller says, you need to start digging if you have Brock Purdy rookie card in your inventory in quarter box. You probably have it. Low Roller, what? And I was actually, this is something I was going to look up on eBay the other day. Do you know what products he was in? That will help me tremendously. Not that it'll save me any time looking through my quarter boxes, but it'll help me know if I actually have it, because it depends. I've got a lot of low-end football rookies like Brock Purdy, but I don't know what year. If he was in like 2018 or 19 and before, I probably don't have it. But if he's in like 2019, 20, or 21, I probably do. But if he was in this year, I probably don't. So I don't know when Brock Purdy was a rookie. Since I don't really recall his name, I likely don't have any. Like the quarterbacks I have a ton of are like Steven Montez, Ben DiNucci, like whatever class they were in. John says, Griner, yep, we just talked about that. Brittney, that's awesome news that she's out of prison in Russia. I mean, I don't think any of us could imagine what that would be like. Let's see. Ken says we have different definitions of awesome. I don't know what that is, and that could be referring to anything that I talked about. I'm not sure what specifically that was in reference to. Brian says, sold a college 2022 Prestige Extra Points numbered in auto last night of Cameron Thomas. I do well with them in Leaf. Let's see. You know what set that I've done really well on rookie cards out of football is Unparalleled. And I know that there was one player, and I think he was a kicker, had a rookie, and it was his only rookie. And it was selling for like $10, and I had like listed it for $1.50 because it's a no-name rookie. And then it sold like within 5 minutes. And I'm like, and then I looked up and I'm like, oh, this is selling for like $10. Somebody got a great deal. I can't remember what player it was, but it was his only rookie card, and it was in the Panini Unparalleled product. And I noticed, because I listed like a stack and they move. It's not like they move in a day like this guy did in 5 minutes, but I sell them consistently. John says maybe Chicago will become a big market baseball town again someday, like San Diego. I know it hurts. The Ricketts crying poor. I wonder if they'll answer to their fans next month at the Cubs convention. I doubt it. They've avoided speaking in public at the convention the last couple times. Terry says, I put in a ticket to Car Dealer Pro weeks back requesting a bulk edit on the spreadsheet view. Would be nice to bulk paste. Very nice. Yeah, so in going back and piggybacking on that comment, so I do the bulk paste within the spreadsheet. Like I export the spreadsheet and do all of my editing within the spreadsheet. North Collector, what's up? Good morning to you. How do you store your scanned cards after uploading it to Car Dealer Pro? They actually store them for you to find them back when you sell them. I don't know how I'm not sure I understand the question. To find them back when you sell them. How do you store your scanned cards after? So do you mean how do I store my inventory, not the photos? How do you store so if you're talking about my inventory, so I have boxes. So let's see. So like this, so when I do each batch has a specific SKU. So this one, for example, is 9Q. So it's in box 9, tab Q. So I go to box 9, tab Q, and this looks like it's Allen and Ginter. So we'll just take the first card. So if I sold this card, Allen and Ginter, 2017 Allen and Ginter salmon and flatfish. So when I go to ship it from eBay, on the like ship screen, like where it says like what items sold and ship now, awaiting shipment screen, it'll say 2017 Allen and Ginter salmon and flatfish, and it'll show SKU, custom label SKU 9Q. So I just go to 9Q and I find, oh, there it is. And then that's how I ship it. So if that's what you mean, how I sort my inventory, I give each stack of 100 or so its own separate tab. Steve says 2020 Mosaic Basketball has very low accuracy. Most of the time, the only card in the database is a fast break gold out of 10 variation. That's interesting. Logical Collectible says, how do you decide how much to pay for bulk? Typically, I like to be at a penny a card or less, depending on what it actually is. But if it's like basically a 4-row box, I want to be at about a penny a card, depending on what's in there. If there's a lot of good stuff, I'll pay 2 to 3 cents per card, depending on what's in there. But if it's mostly cards that I'm just going to sell for $1.50, I want to be at a penny a card or less, half a penny to a penny. If it's like, and that's if it's by the 4-row box. If it's a giant collection, I want to be a little less than that. Let's see. Good morning, Herman. Just sold another Brittney Griner card. Let's see. Logical Collectibles. We just answered that. Herman in the house. Jenny says, I imagine his answer will be there's so many variables. There is. What is the bulk in terms of era, base, inserts, autos? Is there big cards that can make the money back fast? Yeah, essentially what I'm buying is going to be like just quarter box stuff that is essentially $1.50 inventory for my eBay store. And that's where I want to be at a penny or less. So my cost of goods sold is 1 cent. And, I'm not going to pay 10 cents unless it's going to be more than $1.50. If it's a quarter box and I, say I pull out 100 cards, I want to make sure I'm pulling out cards that are going to sell for, in the $3 to $4 range if I'm spending 10, 15 cents per card on those. Let's see. Red Light 34. What is a good model of Fujitsu to get? So for the feed scanners, there's 3 options. The 7030, the 7160, and the 8170. So the 7030 is the last generation. The 7030 and the 7160 are the previous generations. That's what the 7 stands for, 7th generation. The 30 stands for how many cards per minute it scans. So the 7030 scans 30 cards per minute. The 7160 scans 60 cards per minute. The 8170 is the newest generation, and it scans 70 cards per minute. Also, with the 7160 and the 8170, it has newer software. So you can set your margins, and you can also set it to black as the background. I used the 7030 for a year, and it worked great. It's a great entry-level model. You can buy them refurbished for around $300. The 7160, I think probably the same. I would probably recommend the 7160 because of the software. If you can get it for a similar price, and I'm not sure what the secondary market pricing or on refurbished models is, I would recommend for an entry level, because the 8170 is still new, so it's going to set you back $1,000. So I would recommend for starting out the 7030 or the 7160, and then scale up. And then as you put it to good use and you start, put some money aside to scale to get the 8170. So that's what I would recommend. But I used the 7030 for a year, and it worked great. And now Ed, who's here in the chat, he has the same scanner, bought it from me, and he's had great success. I think Jenny says beginner Fujitsu 7030 will do the job for a cheaper cost. There you go. So and I just sold the rest of my Brittney Griner cards all at full price. So that's, those are, all 3. Those are the only 3 I can recommend for feed scanners for baseball cards. Only those 3. I would not recommend trying a different feed scanner for baseball cards because they're built differently. So that would be my suggestion. Let's see. Double A Card says, I am very ADHD collector right now. Get FOMO from like any release. That's where I'm at. I'm in the same headspace because I love Bowman. We all know that. And Bowman Chrome just came out, so I was in some team breaks, Cubs team breaks. Bowman Draft is coming up either next week or in 2 weeks. We've got mega boxes for Chrome probably coming out soon. Platinum is coming out. And then I wouldn't buy Heritage High Number, but since Ethan Roberts has a rookie card, and it's like my favorite of the 3 major rookie cards so far. I want to get some of those. Let's see. One big thing about collecting a team is you end up getting a little bit of every release. Set building was fun for me, but became too many sets to chase. Yeah, absolutely. Even if you're a team collector, there's too many sets to chase. And I pick and choose. Like, I'm not a completionist. I don't have to have like every different set. And if I can get them in trade, great. But I'm not going to go chase like especially when it comes to the high end stuff, like Transcendent and whatever other high end National Treasures. Like for National Treasures, they're such good looking cards, but I'm on a budget with my team collecting. So I'll get Leaf. And, I won't get Chris Bryant or Javi Baez. I'll get prospects from Leaf. And they're awesome. They look great. I love Leaf cards. Low Roller says, can you look Brock Purdy rookie card in your quarter box? You probably have it. Yeah, I don't know what sets he's in. Herman says, get you a few chickens. There you go. I can get a chicken hobby. You know, where was I? I must have been driving to Club 400 last week, and I was in a town, like I was driving through a town, and there were like somebody had chickens, like right in the middle of town, and I was gonna stop and take a picture. They probably would have came out and like looked at me funny, but I wanted to take a picture to send it to you. Chickens right in the middle of town. Chickens up here are hard, Herman. Actually, my brother has 2 chickens. Or are they hens that lay eggs? He gets like 1 egg from each hen. And they're like smart. Like they like answer you to like a dog. Like I could not believe it. Like he's got like a hen house. He's got like a big, my brother owned like a detail shop in his backyard. And so he has this big building. And then like on the side of the building, he has this hen house with 2 hens. And they like let them out in the yard. They know their boundaries. And they'll like come when called. It's amazing. And I think they get an egg from each hen each day. Let's see. John says, sorry, it was a biz related question. No, biz, not personal. I did not take it personally. And that's where like my business and pleasure kind of intersect. If I'm at a card show and somebody's trying to sell me a bulk box, I'm looking at it more business because it's like, that's business. Don't get me wrong, but it's also, there's some pleasure with it. If I get a bulk box, if it's just a random quarter box, it's like business. Like, is it fun? Yeah, it's still fun, but it's not as fun as opening wax. And I like opening wax. So I did not take it personal. But I did treat Bowman U a little differently because I found a lot of pleasure in opening it. So there was like added value to it. Low Roller says you should start posting blowout forums promoting your eBay store. You can post for free. I have on occasion. There's like a spam your eBay store forum within Blowout. Every once in a while I'll post. Let's see. Terry says, be careful deleting batches on Card Dealer Pro. I think if you stopped a good till canceled listing and change it to auction, your pictures would be gone since they got deleted with the batch. Ooh, that's a good tip. John says, eventually you'll need to define the profits, and that includes labor. Low Roller says, you need kids so your kids can carry the Cubs collection when you die. Let's see. Mods delete the spammer. We've got some sex bots in the house. For those who look for business, for those that look to you for business advice, I think it's important to factor in time. It is, for sure. Absolutely. But how do you value your time? Like, if you have kids, and so here I'll go back on this. So if you want to sell cards full time, like, are you up for the grind? Because it's a grind. And I talked I talked about this with Ty on one of the Bench Clear media videos, where it's like, how much do you work? It's like 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. like every day. So if you want like a 40-hour a week job and take Mondays off or take Fridays off and do this and do that, running a business is probably not for you, because it's not anywhere close to a 40 or 50 hour a day, or 40 or 50. Sometimes it feels like 40 hours a day, a 40 or 50 hour a week job. So there's a big grind to it. And how do you value your time? It's, if you may, I don't value my time as much as probably most people, but I'm also enjoying it. So there's value in the enjoyment that I get from not having to answer to a boss. I hated my job for 7.5 years, and I'm working twice as much as what I did at my last job, making about the same, making a little more than what I made at my last job. So when you break it down to an hourly basis, I'm making a lot less. So my time, I'm getting paid less for my time selling cards than what I did at my desk job. But it's worth it. And no way in hell would I go back to it. So it's all about valuing your time. And, nobody can tell you what's right for you. Only you know what's right for you. If you have kids, I wouldn't suggest selling cards full time. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that do have kids and do it full time. And they would, like, from me, it's like, man, I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people raise kids. Seems like a lot of work. So like everybody's situation is different. If you have underlying health issues and you need health insurance, would not recommend starting your own business because that health insurance is going to be pricey. If you're in a family household, or if it's just you and your wife and maybe your wife doesn't work, or for whatever reason, if there's only one income, probably not a good idea. So there's so many variables, and you just have to, in what I did when I started my business is I spent a good month, 2 months analyzing my numbers, projecting out what I could do. The main hurdle was the benefits package. My wife's in real estate, so she's self-employed. So we were both going to be paying for health insurance, private health insurance. So that was the big hurdle. And then once I figured out, okay, this is what I need to do, this is, what I need to make it work. And I was confident that could happen, and it did, and it has so far. Then we make it work. So there's so many variables to go into it, and only you can identify what those variables are and make that decision. Let's see. Double A says, after they're uploaded on eBay and say the prices change, go over time. There's really not an efficient way to do it. I mean, it's kind of like a one-on-one, and I don't adjust the most efficient for me bulk editing is when I get offers and, say I have a card that's listed for $10, but it's a $5 card. And, say I get an offer of $5, I'll take it. Or I get a lowball offer. Somebody offers me $1. I'll go in and I'll be like, well, I'm not going to take that offer. And usually if it's like a lowball offer like that, I'm just going to decline it outright. So I'll decline it, and then I'll go in and edit on a one-on-one basis. So there's really not an efficient way to bulk edit prices after they're on eBay because they're all going to be all over the place. At least my listings are all over the place. So there's not really an efficient way. You can still do the bulk editing tool, but say they're like, a lot of what I need to adjust my pricing on is probably like Bowman from this year. Like I'm sure I still have some first Bowman Chromes that are release day pricing. Bowman U, some of the stuff is set too high. So it's stuff like that. So there's probably not an efficient way to do it. Where are we at? Let's see. John says, my first tour as a roadie for $600 a week. I worked 7 days a week, 16 hours a day. I loved it, and the hourly didn't faze me. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes, and sometimes it's that, but you also have to look. When I worked in radio, I loved working in radio. It was fun, and I worked 70 hours a week. A lot of 16-hour days. I think one time I did, and I chose to do this like on my own as sports director. I did where I was working in Galesburg, Illinois, and they did the cross country team. This is how dedicated I was to my craft. I went to work at normal time on, say, like a Tuesday, because I think practice is open on like a Wednesday. So Tuesday morning, I woke up my normal time, 5 a.m., was in the station by 6 a.m. At 3 p.m., I'm done with like most of my typical work. And then I started uploading, like I had found some like old cassette tapes of play-by-play broadcasts from like the early 80s. So I was like dubbing those, uploading those to the website. And stayed, and then I think I went out, got some dinner, and then at 11 p.m. I went to my base was in Monmouth, which was about 15 minutes from Galesburg, 10 minutes. Drove over there at 11 p.m. to cover Midnight Madness cross-country practice and did interviews with the kids, the coaches. At 2 a.m., I'm back at the studio and uploading the interviews. 4 a.m., I'm sleeping on the floor of my office at the radio station and got back up and did it all over again that Wednesday. And I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. But then it got to a point where it's like, okay, I do a lot of this on my own time. Like the radio station wasn't paying me for a lot of that time I was actually working. And you don't make much money in radio as it is. And it's like, I think I need to make a change. So eventually it's like that balance of, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun, but I'm not making much money. Ken says, not sure when F1 retail hits shelves. If you happen to see, let me know so I can head out. You betcha. Logical says he's in 2022 Chronicles draft. Oh, okay. So I don't have any 2022 football products. Not a single card from 2022 football. Let's see. Jenny asks, Ken, are you usually able to find product or would you like me to pick some up if I see it? Let's see. John has a link. What's this link? Beckett. Brock Purdy. There you go. Okay, so Panini certified. Panini certified. Jesus, he has 8 pages. Oh, Panini. Oh, he's got National Treasures. Oh, wow. He's got a lot of 2022. I don't have any 2022 football. Let's see. Double A says, yes, Unparalleled is great for 2019 rookies. Was it Gonzalez? It might have been. I can't remember. It was like right at the beginning of football season. Let's see. Ken says, thank you for the offer. It's not that important. Just don't know when to go head out and look. I haven't been out searching for retail since right before COVID shut down. Let's see. John says he's asking about your SKU system. Let's see. Jenny says, Ken, I'm the same with not actively hunting for product, but I check when I have to stop at the store. Steve says for the 30 and 60 and 70, 30 and 71, 60, it is pages per minute. Since cards are small, they can do more than 30 and 60 per minute. That's a great point. I did not take that into consideration. Let's see. You can eBay search Brock Purdy cards to find out, but you're the one that suggested it. You tell me. You tell me. Big Harv says, need to get your brother one more chicken so he can have a 3-egg omelet. Yes, there you go. Do you want kids to carry your father's last name legacy? No, there's too many Thompsons as it is. Let's see. I've got to laugh at your comment, Low Roller. If you don't have kids, you will die old and lonely. The kids wouldn't take care of you when you get older. What's your name, Low Roller? I know everybody else's name, but I don't know your name. Let's see. David says, good morning. While eBay is getting better over time, the one feature that went away is lowering the price over time. This used to be a feature if you listed from the app. Interesting. Esteban, what is up? Heard Galesburg. I'm from the Quad Cities. Shout out QC. I grew up 30 minutes from the Quad Cities in the village of Anawan, Illinois. So the Quad Cities was the big city for me. I just sold some Bowman U. Bo Nix, Auburn Tigers. The money just keeps coming in on Bowman U football. Yeah, what part? Are you Illinois side or Iowa side? Quad Cities. Yes, I am very familiar with the Quad Cities. I worked in Galesburg, Monmouth, Macomb. Grew up in Anawan and then went to Western and ended up staying there for like 12 years. And then came to Wisconsin. So that's what I had for today, which was really nothing. Doing all this talking and being upright, my sinus pressure has gone away a little bit, so I'll have to keep that up. Hopefully. So if I'm late tomorrow, again, you know the reason. Moline, the Maroons. So if I'm late tomorrow, you know why. It's because I probably didn't get any sleep because of my sinus pressure. So thanks for tuning in. hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be back on live. Hopefully it's 7 a.m. tomorrow. I was going to put, I actually did record a video. I don't think Andrew's here. I actually did record a video because I was waiting for a package. I got a notification from Real Brakes that I had a package being delivered. It was delivered, and I did do a video, but it wasn't what I was expecting. So I don't know if I'm going to actually upload that video because I don't know like how to like market it. Like I didn't get what I thought I was getting, but it's better this way because it wasn't what I was expecting. So it's actually better. But I was kind of hoping for the other thing, and it wasn't like great. It wasn't like, oh, wow. So maybe I will upload later today. So like, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for your patience with my tardiness this morning. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. It's a free-for-all Friday. It's probably going to be a snow-blowing Friday for me. We've got some snow coming in. I'm going to do some retail hunting, I think, this afternoon. So I think some of my Walmarts are stocked on Thursday afternoons. There's some baseball products, hopefully, that will be released and on the shelves today or tomorrow. So I'm going to check that out before the snow comes. So thanks again, and we'll talk tomorrow.